All right, you guys, welcome back. Open Mat Chronicles, 1865 Rod here. We're coming at you guys once again. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. As always, we got Schaefer up in here.
What's up, everybody? Schaefer in the house. Happy Wednesday. It's that time again. It's Open Mat Chronicles time. Got something interesting. We were just sitting here going back and forth about because we're both instructors. We like to show stuff, and sometimes I think we get overzealous. Sometimes I think we like to show too much. Right? This is going to be, what do you do just as a student if you're going to maybe 3 classes, right? Let's go 3-4 classes per week. You're going there, you're all hyped up, you're ready to go. But every single time you show up, there's like 3 or 4 moves being taught. And then the next day, it's a different 3 or 4 moves, and then a different. How do you get consistency when every day is a brand new snowflake of a day? None of them are the same. What do you think?
That's what makes teaching jiu-jitsu so challenging. You know, it is tough. You're right. And in many cases, those are going to be advanced moves too, right?
Yeah.
I know we kind of talked about this once before, but this is like something that's worth talking about again. It's like you go to school Monday, they teach you 5-6 moves. They're all super advanced. Maybe you don't have the dexterity to do it. You just can't do it yet. You're a white belt, right?
The 10-step moves.
Yeah, then you come in Tuesday, 5 more.
And they're like, wait a minute, I still haven't gotten this tie my belt thing down. What are we doing here, right?
And you see them too. You see the white belts. They have like blank looks on their face, like, yes, I don't even know. So I guess what I'm wondering is, how many of those moves do they actually retain?
Ugh. If I had a guess, I would say none. Like they look at it, and I think what starts to happen a lot of times, they end up learning basics from other students versus them picking up the basics from your main instructor. It'll be like that blue belt who's actually pretty good, and that purple belt who's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna work on a couple of moves. I'm gonna show this to a couple of the guys that I'm working with. Versus a structured class, versus the instructor going, hey, you know what? I need to either repeat the same move for a week or 2 straight, and I know sometimes people don't like that, but if you don't have that repetition,
You kind of have to, though.
yeah, like how are you going to lock this in? How are these guys going to say, oh, yeah, I get it. This scissor sweep, I need to go across and grip here, and versus they hear scissor sweep and they go, oh, this is pretty simple, but then they don't see it again for a year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on. I don't know, man. Like I do know. I know how I'd like it to be, but I also understand that now you're dealing with something where they're like, the higher belts, I know this.
Exactly.
I've already done this.
Well, see, and that's what happens. Like, even like myself as an instructor, Gus might show a really cool move on Monday. Let's say he shows like 4 of them that are really good, but they could be advanced.
Right.
But you're like, that one's actually pretty cool. Not that the other ones aren't, but like for me, it's like, hey, that one resonates with me. I like it. That one. And I might want to teach it on Wednesday, but then I feel like guilty. Like, damn, man, I don't want to teach it. They just saw this. Like, that's what I'm thinking. They just saw it.
Right.
So I feel like I'm not giving them, a fair, like, oh, they already saw this. I need to teach them something new that they already saw. So it's kind of perpetuating that, if anything, where I really should. And I've done it sometimes where I'm like, hey, man, Gus taught this on Monday. I'm going to show it again.
Right.
I think that would be better if I personally think we should do it all week. Because look
I'm down with that. Seriously.
Let's say Gus taught this move that was, I don't care if it's a freaking ninja roll. Let's say he did a ninja roll. He likes that fancy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he did a ninja roll to a back take.
Okay,
all right.
Sweet. Good move, actually.
I guarantee you, Gentleman John, could teach his version of that on Tuesday.
Agreed.
I could teach the version of that on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever does Thursday, will Gus again, he'll teach another version, a little variation of it, right? And Friday would be the day that we just do our, open mat stuff, whatever we want to do. We just do fun stuff, our basic. But I guarantee you, by the end of that week, people would know that ninja roll.
Yes,
you'd have more people would know the ninja roll, or they'd be open to learning it. Because, like, for one day, I'm like, here's what cursed me. I'd see a move like that when I was like a blue belt. I couldn't do the rolls and all that. But like, man, I can't do that. That's not even within my wheelhouse. So forget it. But if we had done that all week long, I would have probably picked it up.
Right. You'd pick up on the nuance. You'd pick up on I was like, I
It's not that
wasn't
hard.
getting this, and it didn't feel right to me, so I'm just not even going to try it anymore. I'm not going to revisit it because I have nobody who's actually teaching it and already good at it.
Exactly.
And I think that happens to a lot of people too, right? They'll come in, maybe they do like a move, and they're like, shit, I forgot how to do it.
You
Or
forget.
there's a step
totally
or two
forget.
that wasn't there. Well,
Yeah.
who do I ask now? Oh man, I don't even remember if they were in class with me when they did it, or I don't know if I really want to bother the instructor and have him trying to figure something out when I'm like, what was that? Where did I put my left hand?
You're right.
So they just don't even ask. They just let it go, and then it just fades out of existence for them until a year later it pops back up and they go, oh shit, that's that move I liked.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, what happens is I'll see moves now. I'm like, oh, that's the coolest move ever. And then I go like, yeah, I showed this move, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I couldn't do it back then, but now I'm like, oh, it's so easy.
And that's
That
the other
happens
thing,
a lot.
right? Because now you have that time under your belt and you're like, oh, I can actually pick up on things easier because I've seen and I've done similar things.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, okay, this is the little thing I add to it. Realistically, I mean, we can learn a lot of moves just by looking at them. You know what I mean? You can kind of see it and you go,
You get it.
oh, I understand why this works.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm gonna do it, or hell, I'm even gonna teach it, right? Just from YouTube black belt. You know, you can go out there and you can just check it out. And for all you TikTok black belts out there, sorry.
No, but you're right. I think it was, what was it? It was Randy. Shout out to Randy. He showed me a move. I can't remember what it was now, but I remember the move. I just don't remember the name of it. It was something about a leg lock thing.
Right.
But anyway, like I had it, and then he had to show me a little nuance. I'm like, okay, I got it, dude. It's like one time, like I got it in my brain. It's already done. I got it.
For sure.
But 5 years ago, I wouldn't have that.
And I was about to say,
no
a
way.
white belt's gonna go, whoa.
Oh, what is that?
They're like, hold on. They're like, so you rolled to the left,
Yeah.
but you did something with your right hand. What was it? And it's like, oh yeah, I just helped myself post up a little bit. Like they just don't see that because everything's counterintuitive, right? So,
Oh, it was a
What do we
variation
do?
of the false reap. That's what it was.
okay.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy. Yeah. So if you don't show them over and over and over again, it's going to be harder for them to learn. I will say this is something that I really appreciated once again over at Hastings. It was for the next week, we're going to be doing this. And then
That's good.
the following week, because we're in gi, we're going to have something that's at least similar to it. It's like if this was your no gi version of something, here's either the gi version or something in the gi that has a lot of the same type of positioning or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just so that your muscle memory is being built up because you're coming in constantly.
100% agree. In fact, I think, was it Henry Gracie said something about that? They were talking about combatives, and he said ultimately the martial art that's going to save you on the street is the one that's just ingrained in your muscle memory.
Yeah.
Like that is facts. You can't be sitting there thinking about, oh, where does this foot go? Where
Right.
does this, like, you need, that's why we do the armbar, Kimura, triangle, 5 each side. We used to do that every time the class started. That was something that Gus started. I don't know if he started it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
was legit,
that's
though.
drilling. That's
good drill.
drilling of basic moves. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where some people get that the warm up, and they're like, oh, we're going to do our shrimps across the floor, and then
Yeah.
we're going to do stand and base. We're going to do judo rolls. We're going to do all this, right? Hell, I don't see a lot of people doing break falls anymore, but they should. But all those things are basically the repetition that I think they're not getting
Yeah.
in the class
Exactly.
itself.
so those do help. At least if you can supplement it with that.
What
It's,
is it? A little something's better than nothing,
Yeah.
right? It's like, yeah, it helps, but I think, and this is this is my personal opinion. Obviously, I think instructors need to actually start to focus a little bit more on, and if you already do this, disregard. But instructors need to focus on that repetition
Yeah.
and maybe sticking with something longer,
I
so
agree.
that they actually can absorb it, right? Will you possibly bore some people? Yeah, shit. But I mean,
But you
are
get
gonna-
better, though. It's only a
you're gonna
week.
get
You tell me you
better.
can't have that much patience for a
A
week.
lot of people, man. Listen. Once again, RIP TikTok, right? It's like
But just think about it.
people don't have a lot of patience.
Because you're right. Because think of this. Let us say there's a move that you just hate. Because there's some moves like, oh, dang, I don't want to do this one again.
Right.
Can't stand this move. Now I got to do it all week.
How about
but
that?
You know what? You suck it up. I only train 3 days a week. Actually, it'd be 2 days because I would have to deal with it 2 days.
Right?
Fridays are open.
Yeah.
So it's really like a couple of days. It's not that bad.
It's not that
And-
bad, but some people can't do that. Some people need to have their ego stroke. They need to. I only want to do what I want to do, versus come in, just do what's being taught, suck it up, Buttercup, and just like, okay, you're still gonna have your free roll. You're gonna have your time to roll afterwards. Work this, and when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, isn't that the same thing as like almost like when we did the no gi? Like we now force people to do no gi because it's 1 week on, 1 week off. People love it.
Because
and now so many people like no gi, right?
When it was just no gi's just on every other Tuesday,
8 years ago, right?
But we've been doing skip every other Tuesday. They're like, nah, I'm not coming in for this.
That's why everybody in our school is really good at no gi. They don't care.
Correct. You force it down their throat. Basically.
So how that translates is that if I got stuck doing a move I hated, I might actually say this move's actually not that bad, because there might be some nuance of like, okay, well, I can do this version of it. Maybe John showed it in a way that like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a little easier. Yep. You're right. A different variation of it.
And you may not actually put it into your repertoire, but you might go, but I see it coming.
Exactly. I know the defense.
It's like, I understand this move. I understand the mechanics well enough that when it's in front of me, or if I put it in front of somebody else, I can counter it because I'm like, oh, I know what the hell you're about to do, right? So here's the other thing, though. Now, what do you do when your school doesn't make the adjustment? When they're like, nah, man, we are going to do a different 3 moves every damn day, and that's just what it's going to be. Deal with it. Okay. How do you deal with it? So here's my suggestion, right? Usually you're going to have open mat afterwards. You're going to have your time to roll. And let's say Monday you come in, you see something, you're like, oh, man, there was this berimbolo that I learned, and it was really, really cool, and I wish they would stick with it for a week so I could just keep getting better, right? What you're going to have to do is give up some of your open mat time, and you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take maybe 2 rounds off, and I'm actually going to drill these moves.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, but I think lower belts have a hard time doing it.
You're right.
They're like, no, I got to fight. I got to fight. I got to get in here. I got to get this tap.
Yeah.
Versus, I got to drill. Damn, it sucks to drill and drill and drill and drill. When I see everybody else is rolling and they're fighting, it sucks to drill and drill and drill when now I have to ask somebody who maybe wanted to go fight if they'll just drill with me. So, right? Now you're like, hey, man, would you mind just drilling? What am I going to say? No.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, what the hell, man? I came here to choke somebody. And you want me just to be a freaking tackling dummy? You want me to get rolled upside down so you can do your berimbolo back tape? How many times are we going to do it? For 5 minutes we're going to be doing this? Like I said, that's that TikTok mentality, man. Everybody's got that ADD kicks in.
You know what? Me and Oleg used to do this. We haven't rolled like this in a minute, but we used to roll like we would practice some move, and then we would just say, okay, let's just roll. Well, we'd roll light, right? Legitimately light for the guys that know the joke. But we really would. And knowing that each of us are going to try that move, and we wouldn't resist 100%. You know what I mean? We would kind of but it would still have some force. So I guess what it does is it puts it in a live situation. He knows I'm going to do it. He doesn't know when I'm going to do it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it.
And don't fight it off as hard as you possibly can.
No.
Correct.
You have to have a good training partner for that.
I was about to say, that requires
it can't be ego like, oh, I'm going to try
training.
to tap you. None of that. It's not going to work if it's that. If it's that, it won't. Find somebody else.
Right.
You know?
This is technically just going to be a live drill.
It's a live drill.
We're just
That's
doing
actually a good way to
drill.
put it. Yeah. And so you still get a little cardio going because you're still rolling, and you may not try that every single time, but even in that roll, you might hit that move like 2 or 3 times, like when you start.
And not only that, you start to see how you can string that move together
with other things,
moves.
You see where you're in danger.
Right?
Like, oh crap, I didn't realize.
It's like, hey man, if I start doing this move, it opens up.
Yes.
This attack that I was sitting here, I'm in love with now. I want this attack. Or if I start this attack and I miss it, where does it leave me?
Yeah.
Now am I prepared to start defending? What's going to happen? It's like,
Dang, man. So it all goes back to training partners.
You
need those training partners that are willing to work with you like that.
You do.
Or here's another thing. Like what I'll do, like let's say, I don't know, some like Halen comes in. We'll roll, right? Can I still roll on? But then, hey, let's work on this.
Yeah.
So we get both. We'll do a little roll first, do a little chill roll, but then we'll also work on stuff. So you get the best of both worlds.
All right.
Because I don't want to just take his time and say, hey, Halen, just work with this thing on me, and then he didn't even get to roll because he comes in to roll. I get that. It's cool,
So that's the best of both worlds, but here's the worst of both worlds, right? when you get the guys who go, man, well, I don't want to miss out on my rolls, so I'm just going to do some totally different shit than what the instructor is teaching right now. See, now you piss me off. Because if I'm teaching you and you do that, that's fucking disrespectful. And I don't like that shit, right?
Oh, you mean you're teaching? They have a whole
I'm teaching. I understand this is the 12th move you've learned this week, and you want to work on the first moves you learned this week, but you decide to take my class to just do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
See, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. That's definitely a rough one. But like, I get it. You're paying for it. It's your money. You should be able to get and do whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm like, yo, what am I up here for? I'm here showing you what I want you to learn right now, and you're just going to do your own thing? See, that could be annoying too, right? But it's only annoying because of my ego, right? So I recognize that. I get it. You have your own agenda. You want to do your thing. I'm up here. Maybe I put some time into figuring out what I'm going to teach you. And I'm like, yeah, man, this will be a good class. And then I see like 2, 3, 4 people just doing some different shit. Yeah, you've hurt my ego. You've bruised my ego, and I don't like it.
You know what? It's coming full circle, dude. I just realized the solution is what we always talk about. If you just roll to just train, there you go. Because you can try anything you want. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have a conversation. You just slap hands like, hey, I'm going to try this ninja roll. I don't have to tell them that's what I'm going to try.
Just try it.
We're just going to try it. Because you're not going so freaking hard. You just
that's if you have
so
a
we've
good
come full
training
circle.
partner. But that's a good training partner who's not fighting super hard.
Bro,
like if they're shooting for a tap, well, they might just hunker down, and then you want to work this berimbolo, but they're playing a low heavy game. They're giving you nothing.
Because that's what happens. Let's say there's a guy that's really, like you're right, like he's really heavy pressure. He's trying to smash. Okay, I just end up like tightening up. I'm so tight. I'm not really doing anything. I can't do anything. I'm just locked in. Like, what did I learn for that 5 minutes? I learned nothing, dude. I'd worked on my frames.
Yes. And the thing is, though, that's why if you don't tell the person what you want to work on, their game might be completely like built to shut down what you're thinking about working on. So you never get the opportunity. So it's like, if you don't tell somebody,
you're right.
You know what I mean? If you don't tell somebody, hey, listen, I'm working this, then they're going to fight you like they've been fighting you. They're not going to actually take you into consideration at all. They're like, you're my training partner, but I'm still trying to train for me, not really for you. Whereas if you guys don't say anything, you're both training for yourselves against each other.
Yeah.
Man, it's a difficult
It all comes back to
thing.
mindset. It really does.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to practice those moves somewhere. If you learn whatever move you learn, you're going to have to practice. Whether you're learning a bolo, like you said, okay, great. They're going to try to hit that. But maybe if the guy's rolling with an aggressive person, he's not going to try that bolo.
Nope.
It's like, I didn't even try it, right? But you should be able to try it every roll. That's what training is for.
You might say, okay, if the opportunity presents itself, I will. But what if you roll 7 matches and it doesn't present itself? And now you came in with the idea, I'm going to work on this.
That happens sometimes.
And you haven't done it at all.
That does happen. It's a little, that does happen.
You know, so it's like, if you don't tell them.
Well, some days you just don't get it. Doesn't go your way sometimes. Because I've had that. I've wanted to do like this freaking leg lock entry. I'm like, bro, I just couldn't get it, man. The way that, I don't know, the stars aligned, it just didn't have that position. The guy was coming into aggressive. I couldn't get it. Couldn't even get the entry.
I get it. That's what I'm saying. So it's like.
But you know what that means? You have to
talk.
You have to get better to even get the entry that you want to get. You know
what
I mean? You have to get better at getting your entry.
Yes. So now, in order for you to get better at getting your entry, though, that means now you got to just work on your entry.
You got to work on your entry.
But now you're working on your entry. And now that you've gotten your entry, you forgot how to do the damn berimbolo because you haven't practiced your berimbolo.
I think maybe that's what you just roll with, maybe work with white belts. Maybe these things resolve themselves. Do they?
You're talking upper belts working.
Yeah, upper belt. Just grab a white belt and then do it. Maybe they resolve themselves. We're overthinking it.
Well, no, but remember, this was really for.
This is for the white belt.
A white belt or white or blue belt. You're
it's
coming in and you want to learn.
Yes.
You want to tighten something up. But they keep showing you more and more and more stuff, and I can't retain it all. I can't keep it all in my head.
So what do? You're a white belt. You've been training for 6 months, and you want to learn this entry to whatever, a back attack, right? Mm-hmm. What do you? So you're a black belt, and they want to roll with you. Do they tell you? Is that what you think? You're saying they should say, "Hey, I'm going to work in this entry."
They should ask. And then here's the problem with that. Shit, I get it.
Now you're ready for it.
Well, they're not going to get you anyway. So what you would do is now you're asking people to basically feed you moves so you can work on it. And I would do it because, again, I'm always in teacher mode, right? But somebody who just wants to roll, they're like, nah, I don't feel like doing this shit. I just want to roll.
You know what happens, though? They just try it, and they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. And then one day they just get it. Like, I got a good example of that. Little Eric.
That's if they keep sticking with it, though.
Little Eric, Blue Belt Eric, he would try that little armbar thing.
Right.
And he's getting really good at that little armbar.
Well, yeah.
And he gets it on a lot of people now.
Right. It's the one where as soon as you touch, like, lay hand on his chest and he's on you.
Yeah.
Sure. I get that. But what about
persistence? He just kept
trying.
What
about the more advanced moves, though? What if it is the thing? Like I said, like Berimbolo is really a good example of this. It's like, if that's something you actually want to get good on,
he tried to bolo me.
But not, we're talking about that's one guy. We're talking about in general. If somebody finds something that they want to do, it's like they're going to have to like talk to somebody and drill it because the armbar move, that's a position that he is in regularly, whereas someone getting put into a Berimbolo is not something they would necessarily be lined up to do regularly.
Yeah.
It's a more obscure move.
So you're going back to like the Sanders argument, basically, drillers are killers. So you're going back to like their solution would be just drill the bolo, drill the bolo,
right.
drill the bolo 100 times, right?
And the entry. And the entry.
Yep. Then you just unleash it on the live crew, whatever you got.
Because at least if it pops up, you're not trying to figure it out when it pops up. You've already done it a million times, so when it pops up, you just kind of go in. It's the muscle memory still.
So you're an advocate for drilling.
I hate that, but yeah.
I know, but you are.
Of course. I mean,
we say, are drillers really killers? Are they? Are they killers?
Yes.
I guess they are.
Look, I have always admitted, like, people who drill those moves, it just happens instantly.
Well, I mean, think about it. If it didn't work, we wouldn't be doing armbar, Kimura, triangle,
correct.
Every time. And absolutely.
That's
why my pet peeve is when I see them do lazy armbars.
Hell yeah, we just talked about
hands
that.
Hands are way down here. They're barely putting the leg over. I'm like, no, dude, don't do that.
Yep.
Not in my class. I want to see good, clean ones.
So how do you ask somebody to give up their time?
You could. The only thing you could do is you just have to ask them. Ask it. If I was a white belt, I'd grab a black belt or a brown or black belt and say, hey, man, I want to drill on this entry. Can you work with me? There should be no problem doing that.
They'll usually, yeah. See, because again,
I don't think any of our black belts having a problem doing that.
They're in teacher mode more so. And I agree.
Yes.
I think they're like,
black belt's in teacher mode. Or they could switch switch real quick, easily.
Yeah. They might be like, oh, you know what? This is a round I can kind of halfway take off now. I just kind of, it's like I'm still moving around. I'm kind of feeding them stuff. I feel good because I helped raise the awareness of Berimbolos to some of the white belts. Yeah.
They need to ask more, basically, right? They need to come up and say, hey, can I drill this entry with you? Whatever. Can I drill? Because you know what? I ask a lot of people for that. I do it all the time as a black belt. Because I know that's the only way I'm going to learn it. I know the move, and I'm like, I got to try this thing. I'll see something on YouTube or whatever like that is legit, dude. I think I could do that. Boom, I'll try it.
I agree. So then, I mean, look, we can keep on going, but then, how do you get somebody used to asking? Like, if they're not, if they're just in student mode, like, I'm just going to learn. I don't want to overstep my bounds. I don't want people to say, oh, this guy, he wants to like be self-directing his whole shit. Blah, blah. I mean, I guess at some point you got to just say, look, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to just freaking get over it. Just freaking rip the Band-Aid off.
Maybe we'll mention it in our class.
Well, we have done a couple times when we just said, hey, what do you guys want to work on? Or give us some, this is a good time for question and answer. I do think we should probably do more question and answer time, though.
Yeah, and I also think, too, everybody should have, like, their gym buddy, basically. You should have that one guy that works with you. When I was coming up, you know who helped me a lot was, oh, man, it's going way back, dude. I don't even know if you remember him. Little Sean, dude. Filipino dude, purple belt. This is like an old Infinite. I'm talking way back in the day. When I was a white belt.
Okay.
Little Sean, dude. He was helping me a lot. He was like my go-to guy. Nice. He was showing me Kimuras and stuff. But that helped a lot. That helped my journey. So you have to have.
So were you both white belts together?
Sorry?
You were both white belts
No,
together?
he was a purple belt. I was a white belt.
There we go. See, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what it is?
Oh yeah.
It's the adopt a white belt
Yeah.
freaking thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
he adopted me basically. Yeah.
right, which I also think people should do. Like
Yeah.
your purple, brown, black, well, black belts, of course, but like the upper belts, yeah, you should be adopting a
Yeah.
white belt. You should be like, I'm gonna make sure
You should.
that this guy or this gal,
You're right.
they're gonna get good at this. I'm gonna give them a little extra time. So yeah, that's very helpful.
And it
That's
should
very
happen. It kind of happens organically
It
sometimes
does.
because I noticed like we got Big James and what's his name, Chewy Spencer.
helpful. Right?
I call him Chewy forever. I got to start calling him his real name at some point. so,
Yeah,
but
but
those
yeah,
two,
for sure.
they're both like big, strong guys, and they kind of naturally just kind of matched up, and they're kind of working with each other a lot. So
Absolutely.
that seems like a good fit.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm
they'll
also
come up
like,
together. That'd be nice.
yeah, I'm also trying to work with that guy a lot, Spencer, to help him a little bit. So
There you go.
But yeah, I think you should kind of find somebody in your school that's like, I'm gonna work with this guy.
Yeah,
I'm
no
gonna help
doubt. I mean,
'Cause somebody helped
I
you.
think about it because even you had Phil for a while.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got Oleg for a while now. Like that, absolutely. They come under your wing. Me, I don't know. I think everybody's under my wing. I'm just like, come on, let's learn some wrist locks. Let's learn some wrist locks, the murder choke. I'm gonna show you the meanest stuff I can.
Yeah.
That's how I teach. But yeah, man, I guess you kind of just have to once again get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? You have to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to just ask people for some help, and you have to ask them for their time, and they're probably going to say yes. And in the back of their mind, they be like, "You son of a bitch! I was going to go do something, but I'm going to help you out. Of course, I'm going to help you out because we're a big happy jiu-jitsu family, and we're all going to do it." So yeah, but do you make a suggestion to these instructors? Should they make this stuff last longer?
I think in a perfect world, that
teach
would be-
less moves,
that would be
teach it
pretty
for
good.
longer times.
Even if no matter what the move, if you stuck with that move all week, I think that would be legit.
There was one other thing that I was going to suggest when it comes time for that, right? If you have a class, a mixed class where you got a couple beginners, couple new or medium, couple advanced, try to either find a move that can be taught at a basic level,
Yeah.
but then has little intricacies that you can use to tighten up as the level goes up. Or, like you said, hey, do a beginner move, do an intermediate, do an advanced move. If you're going to teach three things, have at least one of those that
Be a
you can
basic.
be a day one person and learn it.
Yeah, and it'll be like a repeat for some of the older crew, but there's
For
still
sure.
you might have a little nuance that cleans it up a little bit.
So
I still like a basic, even if it's a basic like a hour armbar, something so simple and so old school that you don't really do them that much. But it's still kind of good it still builds good habits. And it's-
Right. Well, remember I was showing the move Wednesday. It was like in gi and it was like spider stuff. But then the very last thing I showed was just a regular spider guard entry to a triangle.
I know. So,
And I was like, listen,
it's so simple.
I was like, you probably all know
I like.
this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
All right. I was like, you probably all know this, but if you don't, guess what? Here's a real simple move
Yeah.
to go along with all this fancy advanced shit I was teaching you. And everybody's like, oh, damn, that was good. It was just a regular
And
old
here's the thing,
triangle.
too.
It's a regular old triangle.
Watch that spider guard thing you did, right? I guarantee you, if somebody else showed that move 4 other days, there'd be something that would be a little bit different about him. Like, because I was having trouble spinning all the way under. That was
Right.
kinda tough.
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
guarantee there'd be another way to do it.
Yeah.
And there'd be a little nuance that would be easier, and I'd be like, "Shit, okay, I like this."
Yep.
Because
I'm about to
spider guard's
say,
part
a
of my game.
move you were like, nah. Now you're like, oh, wait a minute. This does me. I like
Well, I like the
this.
move. I thought it was a good move.
I like the move too, but I
was
never
good.
do this move.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, right? I can teach a bunch of shit that I never do.
It was actually
I
a good
mean, you'll never see me do that move. I'm just not going to do it.
you're not a spider
I'm not
guard,
going to do that shit.
Yeah.
Because I barely go to spider guard, right? I could, but maybe I got to like challenge myself
Right.
and go, I'm going to do spider guard all
Spider
month.
guard, dude.
Watch this. I'm going to do spider guard.
Do some lasso.
No, I'm good.
The lassos are just easier, in my opinion. They're
I'm
easier
trying to
'cause
fix
you just
my
have more
knee,
control than
man.
one
I'm
arm.
already trying to fix my knee. You trying to have me lasso guard, and I'm gonna hear pop, pop, pop.
There are, hey man, when guys are good at spider guard, they're like really
It
good.
gets ugly.
I don't see a
yeah.
lot of like you're either really good at spider guard or you're not that good.
Right.
There's not a lot of
Otherwise-
middle ground.
Everybody's just getting their spider guard pass.
Yeah,
like
middle
it's a
ground
joke.
spider guard is not a good place to be.
not
You're
where
just
you
going to
wanna
get
be.
past easily.
You
But
like,
lasso guard
come
is
on.
more forgiving, I believe, because
Yes,
you have that control in the
you're
arm.
tied up. Yeah, you're
and I
tied
think
up.
there's more you can do with lasso. That's why I
Totally
think it's more
agree.
popular. But
Nice. Well, see, that's what we wanted to talk about, right? Because I think we made a good point here. We've addressed kind of what instructors should do, but really this was for the student. Like if you're here and you're trying to figure this out, you're like, damn, they keep showing different shit. How do I lock one thing in? You have to get comfortable in being uncomfortable. You have to reach out. You have to talk to someone. Get under somebody's wing, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, say, oh, hey, I like the way this guy fights. Have those conversations with that guy.
Yeah.
I want to be a mini blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
whoever, right? And become that. They're probably willing to help you. Like, I don't know many people who aren't willing to help.
Yeah, if you don't have a gym buddy, then I would say the black belts and the brown belts for sure. It's like they would have no problem helping you. Like that's kind of just what we do. Is there should be no hesitation and just hit us. Hey man, can you work with me on this? I want to just drill this entry for the 5-minute round. Cool, we got you.
Could you imagine?
Somebody
goes up. Yeah. Could you imagine guy comes up? He's like Tiny Tim. He's holding his hat in his hand. He's like, "Excuse me, sir." He's like, "Could you teach me the scissor sweep?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I taught it to you. I just want more, sir. More." Like you want more of my time?
Yeah.
Oh man, what an asshole! If you.
See, that's the thing about jiu-jitsu,
better
man.
help
It has
black belts.
like people are cool people in jiu-jitsu,
are.
man. It doesn't breed a lot of dirtbags,
Nah,
So like
dude.
the people here are pretty altruistic. They want to help you.
I'd be amazed if somebody
Yeah.
wouldn't help. Yeah, because it's important to them, man. That's why they help. And like always, if it's important to them, they'll find a way. So they'll get out there. They'll miss a roll or two of actually going out there and kicking ass because you asked them to.
Exactly.
And they're like, hell yeah, I want to see you get better. It's important to me, so I'm going to do that. If it wasn't important to you, they'd be like, get out of here, Tiny Tim. I ain't got time for your ass. I'm over here at the freaking rec shop on the gym. Get out. But that's when it's not important.
I must
to
get my
them.
tab.
Yeah. I gotta get my daily dose of taps in. I got a quota. Yeah.
We still got to get that crown.
I know. Oh man.
The
king of practice.
We got to get that. I
King
say
of
we get a
practice.
crown and a scepter.
I'm about to say, man. Oh my God.
Yo, we need to do that, bro.
You know who used to always wear that? Doesn't Gary
That
Tonin?
robe.
Gary Tonin used to have
Oh, he did. Yeah.
a scepter,
Yeah.
a cape, and a freaking
Freaking
crown.
robe, yeah.
Oh man.
crazy.
I'm about to get on Amazon and find one.
That's pretty good.
All right. So everybody, like and subscribe and all that good shit, man. We're appreciating this. Hopefully you found some little bit of intelligent conversation and some knowledge out of this one. And be nice. Help the lower belts. And lower belts, be brave and ask for help.
Ask the upper belts. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Adopt a white belt.
Adopt a white belt. Absolutely. Yeah, everybody should start like their own little Adopt a White Belt foundation. Help the people out.
We'll just start assigning people. Okay, you're assigned to you. It's like
Really? We probably
that's what I
should.
did in school.
Huh.
Remember in like PE?
Yeah, exactly.
You work with them. You work with
Yeah,
them.
well, they do that at schools now. Still,
Really?
they go like the upper graders. Like, all right, you're assigned this underclassman and this underclassman. Make sure they don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. All right. Anyway,
Okay, we're out.
we're good.
Definitely. Okay, you guys. So we'll check you guys out next week.
Us.